Grew up in the hood of Detroit, 6 Mile in Southfield. It didn't get no more hood than that. And like you said, I've been blessed to make it out of there with just my wife and our kids, and no more kids than that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We're gonna keep it a buck. We're gonna keep it a buck this afternoon. No gangs, never joined a gang, although I had Bloods, Schoolcraft boys right around the corner, always pressuring me to join. I thank God for my faith. My parents are pastors, so I was always in this dichotomy. Like, I lived in the hood, like I was straight in the hood. Like, my next door neighbor who used to babysit me, Mo, who used to babysit me, took my teeth out. I came home from church one night and he was dead, laid on the grass. There was police on our street. I lived on Oakfield. I came down my street and Mo was lying dead on the ground. And I saw his body. It just didn't register that was Mo. It didn't register till I got to the funeral. And I was like, I think I told my mom, I was like 7 years old, and I was like, so Mo ain't babysitting us no more? Like, death wasn't, I didn't understand it yet. But then, because I was raised in Detroit, I learned how that death actually became numbing to me, that somebody was always dying, right? That's just how life works sometimes. When you go through so many things, you start to become numb to it. Well, just this afternoon, I think I'm here. I thank Chip for the invite this afternoon. But I want to interrupt your life for a second. I want to interrupt your mind. I want to interrupt your thoughts. I want to interrupt who you think you are. And I want to interrupt it with my personal philosophy. As you can see here, I started my own consulting company called We Win Solutions Group. Well, it came from my experience in life. And then, I'll be honest with y'all, it came from my bodybuilding journey. Now, I know y'all can see these muscles on me. They are not downloaded. I ain't get them from Amazon. I earned them in the gym. I earned these muscles in the gym. But I'm going to share a little bit of my We Win philosophy that, if I'm honest with you, it came from my time on the Stairmaster. But before I get there, how many of y'all know how a pearl is made? How many of y'all know what a pearl is? Pearl, like from a clam, but don't tell my wife, Chip. I took this from my wife's closet. This is a pearl. Don't tell my wife, man. Is this going on IG? Okay, I'm safe. Cool. This is a pearl, right? Y'all seen y'all grandmas wear this, you know. So I think I've seen some hip hop dudes starting to wear pearl necklaces. Like, bro, chill. Like, that ain't it. That ain't the move. Take that pearl necklace off, bro. That's for females. But to each his own. Anyways, so this is a pearl. Do y'all know how this is made?
It's out of man, right?
It's out of. Oh man, come on, man. You ain't catch that on camera, did you?
Tell them yourself.
I'm gonna tell them myself. So we know where it's from, right? We know where it's from. It's from an oyster or a clam, right? If you're from the hood like me, you ain't never heard of that in your life, right? But you've seen these things. You've seen them in movies. Your grandmas used to wear them. What Sunday do we got coming up this week? Easter Sunday, right? People gonna be dressed to the nine. How many of y'all going to church? Easter Sunday, you better raise your hand. It's on camera, bro. Raise that hand. You going to church Easter Sunday. Grandmas get dressed to the nine, and they might bring out some pearls, necklace, or earrings, right? So I grew up, I didn't know how a pearl was made till recently. And I recently understood how a pearl was made, and it's actually fascinating. A pearl is made from an oyster or a clam, right? And this clam is in the water. One of the largest pearls in the world is called a gigapearl. It was found in the Philippines. And this pearl, you see this one, probably weighs about maybe 3 ounces, 2 ounces. This pearl that was found in the Philippines, it weighed about 61 pounds. It was made from a clam about the size of this table. If you ever seen National Geographics and you go in the deep sea, you'll see that there are actually clams this size. And they are huge. But you wonder, Mr. Sean, how is a pearl made? Something people use for fashion, for jewelry, for beauty. How is it made? This is how it's made. There's an irritant that comes into the clam. Sometimes it's sand. Sometimes it's some debris. Sometimes it's a rock that comes into the clam. And the clam doesn't like it there. It's irritating. It's unwanted. It's a disturbance. The clam is like, I wish I can get rid of this, but I ain't got no hands. I don't have arms. I don't have legs to where I can run away from my problems. I don't have internet to where I can run and escape from social media. So what does the clam do to get away from this irritant? There is a scientific thing called nacre that a clam has within itself. It's actual, if you ever seen a clam and it kind of slimy, that slime on a clam is nacre. The same slime or that same substance that's on that oyster is what the clam uses to start creating these layers over this irritant. And it takes this sand or this rock or this debris, this unwanted thing in its life, and instead of running from it, instead of removing it, it just uses what's in it to make something beautiful. Over time of layers and layers of nacre wrapping around this rock, what you have and what you see and what is purchased by many people is a pearl. But that pearl didn't start beautiful. That pearl started with something unwanted, something irritating, something disturbing. Like many of you in your lives, if you're just like me, 15, I don't know where you're from, but a teenage young man, looking good, you handsome, you athletic, you got some irritants in your life. You got some unwanted stuff in your life. Maybe it's some family issues. How many of y'all have had some family issues before? Something that you couldn't control, right? Maybe there's divorce. Maybe you ever heard your parents arguing like I heard my parents arguing at 15. I just wanted them to be the TV family. I wanted everything to be perfect. But it's not. Things aren't. Now, because I'm a pastor, I was a youth pastor for 12 years, all this other stuff, I've come to understand that life ain't all peaches and rainbows. That life ain't all unicorns. And there are some hard things that come in life. There are some very difficult things that you yourself are personally challenged with. I want to give you my winning philosophy today. And it's not just for sports, but it actually applies to sports because I learned it in sports. I learned it in bodybuilding. So my winning philosophy, I'm going to just give it to you right now. It's called We Win. And I wanted to change. I learned this, y'all, on a Stairmaster that I had to be on. My coach told me I had to be on a Stairmaster. You got to coach, Jamie. You got to coach. My coach was like, hey, man, in order to cut fat and to cut the water out, because you and I sometimes retain a lot of water, and that's what I did when I was in bulking season. How many of y'all been in bulking season before? Y'all been bulking just straight Whataburger and cookies? That ain't a real bulk. We need some steak in there. We need some potatoes. But I was on a boat, but I had a lot of water on my body. And when you have a lot of water and fat on your body, you got to get it out. So whether you use the Stairmaster or the steam room or miles, like you said, my man in the blue said he runs, you got to get rid of the water. So one of the ways to get rid of the water for me, my coach was like, hey, bro, you got 45 minutes on the Stairmaster. 45 minutes on the Stairmaster. I used to do 10 minutes just to warm up, and that was all I could do. And he said, you got 45 minutes on the Stairmaster if you want to get to where you're trying to go. And I had to, in that moment, it was difficult, y'all. I wanted to quit. But one of the challenges for me was I was used to quitting. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I've accumulated a lot. I've got a degree. I got a career. I have experience. And that means sometimes you get a lot of money from that. So when you get a lot of money and you start to get money, I'll be honest with you, the more money you make sometimes, the lazier you become. Sometimes the more money you make, the more you subcontract out effort. Can I be honest with you? The more money you make sometimes, it makes you lazier. The more something is given to you, it actually sometimes starts to not require much of you. So one thing that challenged with me is I got on that Stairmaster with some of my own life habits. My own life habits were, if it got hard sometimes, I quit. If this relationship is too difficult, I'm going to just fall back. If this effort, if this what I'm trying to achieve, my degree, getting done with school, trying to get better grades is too hard, I'm going to just chat GBT it. I'm going to just cheat a little more, right? Because this is too difficult. The problem with cheating sometimes, y'all, let me help you out as a young athlete and a young scholar. The problem with cheating is you start to cheat yourself. Not only do you start to cheat yourself, you start to cheapen yourself. You can write that quote down. Not only do you start to cheat yourself, you start to cheapen yourself. Your worth isn't established. You haven't learned how to establish yourself and grow on pillars of effort. So my first W in We Win, the first W is, write this down, work is greater than rewards. Work is greater than rewards. If I'm honest with y'all, I used to be a person who wanted rewards and hated the work. I played high school football, I played high school basketball, baseball, I ran track. Because I was a four-sport athlete, I just thought people would sign me up, and that's usually what they did. I was good at baseball, I was good at basketball, football, and all that good stuff. When it came to college, I tried out at IUPUI, Indiana Purdue University, for basketball. When I got there, I had a tryout. The coach said, hey man, I love you, but I got 6 guards in front of you, and you probably gonna ride the bench. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this is probably a story I've never really told a lot of people. I quit. I stopped hooping. I didn't pursue my dreams. I wanted to play ball. My dad played at Saginaw Valley State. He had a tryout at Golden State Warriors. As long as I got a tryout in the NBA, I was cool. I know I'm short, but I'm a dog. Don't get it twisted. I know I might be 5'8", but I'm a dog on the court. You wouldn't want me guarding you, and you don't want to guard me. That's just facts. And that's just how I approach the game. What's up? We good. Let's go with it. We good. I'm glad you believe. I get it. There's a difference between belief and getting on that court. But that's just how I showed up. It didn't matter who was on the court. But when that coach told me, hey man, I really like you, but you're going to sit behind 6 guards and you're going to have to fight for a position, I quit. I stopped hooping. I thought every coach would give me that same conversation. That's not the truth. But I quit. So you know what that did? That started a pattern of quitting before I ever got a result. So one of the things I learned in bodybuilding is that work is greater than rewards. That if I fall, I think Nick Saban said this to his Alabama team when they were winning all those championships. Nick Saban said this, y'all can write this quote down. I don't teach my team to love winning. I teach them to love the process. I love when Nick Saban said this. He said, I do not teach my team, my players, my coaches to love winning. I teach them to love the process. See, this is one thing that we struggle with. When there's an irritant, when there's something unwanted in our lives, there's something happening in the process. But if you keep running from it, you won't win. You won't have a winning lifestyle. So work is greater than rewards. I was on the Stairmaster for 45 minutes, and this is when this came to me, y'all. I wanted to quit. My old habits were catching up to me. I was on the Stairmaster, and I was going. I think I was at minute 22. And one of the things I do is I download movies on Netflix on my phone, and that's how I can get through some of the cardio. But I was on this doggone Stairmaster, y'all, and I had already done a show. This is the second time I've done a show. I did a show in Margaritaville out in Conroe, and then my second show was in Houston in Stafford Civic Center. So I'm at this show, and I want to be better than I was the last time. I'm on a Stairmaster, y'all, and the thoughts started coming. Why am I doing this? I got a beautiful wife. I got a sick crib. Why am I on a Stairmaster? Why am I trying to do this bodybuilding stuff? I should just, what? Quit. I should just quit. I should just get off this Stairmaster and nobody will ever know that I quit. I can just be done with this stuff. And in that moment of Stairmaster, y'all, I'll be honest with you, I was talking to myself. You ever been there before? Where you got to talk yourself through some stuff? Where it's really difficult and you like, can I just get rid of this a little bit? Can I just remove this out of my life? How can I get rid of this? I want to challenge y'all, instead of running from stuff, run to it. You can write this down. Instead of running from things, learn how to run to them. And this is what I did on the Stairmaster, y'all. I started talking to myself, and here's one of the things I said. If I quit now, it will be easier to keep quitting later.
you're running away from your fear, but you gotta face your fear.
You got to face them. You got to face them. Many of us build habits. The men in our lives have built habits of running from the fears, running from pain, running from struggles, running from family, running from future. I'm going to challenge you to switch it up. Run to it. Run to it and learn who you are. Run to it and learn more about yourself. Run to it and learn about it really ain't that big. It really ain't that big of a problem. I don't know if y'all know Bible, but there's a guy named David, and he fought a guy named Goliath. Everybody was running from it. David said, "What's wrong with y'all? Let's run to this." He ran to it with what he knew. Who is this giant that comes against my people and my God? So he runs up to him. You want smoke? I'm with it. He brings the smoke to Goliath instead of running. And what does he do? The Bible says that he knocks him out, kills him, then he cuts his head off. I don't know if y'all know that part of the Bible. He cuts his head off and then holds it up as a trophy. Here's a challenge to you. What challenge in your life do you need to hit in the forehead and cut it off and then hold it up and say, this used to be a challenge. It ain't no more. This used to be a struggle of mine, but it ain't no more. I used to be scared of what people thought about me, but now I'm stepping into who I am, who God has called me to be. I used to look at my family prestige and think that I really got nobody that I come from, so I really can't be nothing, but I'm stepping into my future with both feet forward. What challenge do you need to cut off at the head today to hold up after the day and say, you know what, I'm no longer running from this, I'm running to it.
He's trying to show everybody that he faces fear.
Faces fear. And not only did he show everybody that he did, you can too. So here's the second letter in win. I. Intentional relationships. Mr. Chip already talked about this. I think God wanted you guys to hear. I think you guys came here to, everybody's been collectively saying the same thing today. You got to have intentional relationships. When I first started this bodybuilding, I tried to do this on my own once. I did. I was at 24 Hour Fitness. I was a member at 24 Hour Fitness. I was showing up every day, lifting weights. I was lifting them wrong. I'll be honest with you. I was just in there pumping, trying to get big, bench pressing, whatever, trying to squat, deadlifting. I don't even deadlift no more. I ain't deadlifted in 6 years. Most bodybuilders don't even deadlift. Like, they want their lower back. And I love what you talked about. You squatted all that weight, but sometimes it don't take a lot of weight. It just takes doing it the right way. So, hold on real quick. So, intentional relationships. I got with a coach. I found there was this African-American dude. He was at my gym. He was a huge dude. I walked up to him and was like, hey, excuse me, bro. Are you a bodybuilder? He was like, yeah, I'm an IFBB pro. I don't know if you know what an IFBB pro is, but that's what Ronnie Coleman is. Jay Cutler, C. Bum, Christian Bumstead, all those guys are IFBB pro. I had an IFBB pro in my gym and didn't even know it. I walked up to him because I ain't scared to ask. Here's another challenge to you guys. Do not be scared to ask for help. Write that down. Don't be scared to ask for help. Hey man, I don't have this. I need help. Hey, I need a mentor. Hey, I need a coach. Hey, I need to understand physics. I need to understand, I really want to get into digital, I want to become a digital editor. I don't understand how to do it. Can you help me do this? I had to, as a grown man, this is 4 years ago, I walked up to another grown man and was like, hey bro, can you help me? And he looked at me in shock and was like, I've been in this gym forever. Nobody has ever asked me to help them. I was his first ever person that he helped. Through an intentional relationship, I've done about 9 bodybuilding shows. I've done about 9 of them. I've won about 3 to 4 of them. And with my coach, I'm now self-coach because why? In this coaching setting, here's another thing you can write down. Sometimes you got to shut up. I'm going to just put that out there. I know we love to talk about what we heard and what we saw on social media, what our mamas told us, what we think we know. But when you get with that intentional relationship and you are asking for help, sometimes you got to shut up. I've seen people get with my coach and they don't last because they get with him and they're like, hey man, I want to grow my quads. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just do these type of lunges. And my coach is like, bro, that ain't going to never help you grow your quads. If you do this in this depth and the way in this form, this is how you do it. I've watched people give my coach $3,000 and never show up and train with him because they think they know it all. Sometimes in these intentional relationships, you got to show up and shut up and listen and learn and let them pour into you. Ask questions. I love what this young man is doing. He's asking a ton of questions. That's one thing that I have learned to do in life. Ask more questions. Stop thinking you know everything. You don't. I don't. I'm okay with asking questions. It is not a sign of weakness that you ask questions. It's actually a sign of intelligence because you're processing and you're thinking. The last one in my We Win philosophy, we talked about work is greater than rewards, intentional relationships. And the last one is, now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. Think about that pearl. That pearl could get rid of, try to do its best to get rid of and just wait for the moment it becomes a pearl. That clam can. But the clam says, I'm going to just keep doing this over and over again till I'm okay with this irritant. Sometimes we think, I can't wait to graduate. Sometimes we think, I can't wait to become 18. I can't wait till this. I can't wait till ... so-and-so time. I want to challenge you that now is the time. Sometimes in my bodybuilding journey, all I think about is when I get on stage and I do men's physique. So I come out, I practice posing, I do all kind of stuff. I pose even when I'm super fat, like right now. Like right now, I'm 205 pounds. When I cut weight and I'm on stage, I'm actually 165. On stage. But I actually look bigger at 165 than I do at 205. You know why? Because ain't no fat and water on my body. It's all muscle. So I'm 165 of straight muscle. Most people are 220, 210 of all fat and water. I'm 165 of pure muscle. Sometimes I can't wait to get to that. But the truth of the matter and the challenge is, Sean, now is the time. Even when you're out of shape. Even when you're not 18 yet and you haven't graduated yet and you haven't got the money yet, you're still in the right time. You do not have to rush time. Learn how to be more present. And here's one of the reasons why I know that. We just talked about Easter, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is what is celebrated in the Christian faith practice about the resurrection, that Jesus died, was buried, and in 3 days he rose again, right? We think about an event, but John chapter 11 changes that idea. The Bible says that Jesus showed up to this guy. His name was Lazarus, and he died. And his friends wanted him to come and save him. Hey, Jesus, you're a miracle worker. Come save Lazarus. The Bible says Jesus waited 4 days and let him chill. And people were pissed, like, Jesus, why you ain't come? Why didn't you come save Lazarus? The Bible says that Jesus looked at them and said, it's good that I did not come. Which is pretty crazy. It's good that I did not answer your quick prayer and your miracle and, Lord, do this right now. This is a crazy conversation that he has with Lazarus' sister. Mary says, Jesus, I know that one day I'm going to see Lazarus again because the resurrection is coming. Here's Jesus' response to Lazarus. Here's Jesus' response to all of your pain, to all of the moments you wish would get done and be over with, and that you can get past all this hurt and pain. This is Jesus' response to that. Jesus says, Mary, you are looking for a future time, but the time is right now. You know why? Because Jesus says, I am the resurrection of life. The resurrection is not a moment, but the resurrection is actually a person. And you can experience new life all the time, especially if Jesus Christ is in your life. And I know I didn't start my message with that, but I'm going to end my message with the fact that any pearl can be made in your life. Any irritant, anything that's unwanted, any disturbance in your life can be made anew, especially when you have Jesus Christ in your life. Because it is not just a moment, but Jesus himself says, I am the resurrection of life. And I want you guys to have that. I want you to know it. Not just the Easter Sunday, April 20th that's coming up. Not just Easter Sunday, but every day of your rest of your lives. That you would have a way to win, and you would have a way to see pearls be made through any part and any unwanted thing in your life. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
That's good.